Pops drove a turquoise 280Z. Playing Tracy Chapman, we was watching Heat. Shoot out in the alley, make it hard to sleep. 59th and 5th at my granny house. Uncle Reggie spelling shorts on my granny couch. The lesson was never go the attic route. To deal with mines, I probably pull the automatic out. 60th and 10th, cable with the chip. 12 gauge behind the door, plastic where you sit. I told him I would do it, talked a lot of shit. Came back home after all the trips. Pillow on their head, trying to drown it out. You can still call me if you're down and out. When the cops come and surround the house. Crenshaw niggas run the town, I'm out.
Please make it home safe. Please make it home safe. Please make it home safe.
Good news, boys. It turns out that the early reports were all wrong. Sorry about that. I guess the only thing we can do now is play you a song.
You think you're slick, huh?
Country nigga rap, 5 albums in, I swear a country nigga snap. Thought they wanted trap, thought they wanted bass, thought they wanted Miley, thought they wanted Drake. Fuck them niggas, now they wanna hear a country nigga rap. 5 albums in, I swear a country nigga snap. Thought they wanted gold, thought they wanted shine, thought they wanted radio. Bitch, make up your mind. All this attention, I don't even know what I might do with it. That control beat is like an ugly bitch that everybody done fuck wrong. Maybe you hit it. Oh man, I'm more concerned why niggas been texting my cell, calling my phone, asking me about this Kim shit. They ain't even really diss me on. I ain't drawn all this propaganda. Rap shit about it really sound. Now I'm lyrical all of a sudden. Well, last year they claim they ain't understand me. I'm bearing this and pissing on their graves. Another nigga, other nigga name on your chain, and they call me a slave. Nigga scared of this country ball. Lord forbid I catch a bite in the studio trying to come your soul looking at your manager. I think Chris a guy, man, I'll put you in the trunk with these soul whoop. Feel wheeling my shot. I'm so prolific with these scriptures, they might give me a Bible. Page 1, coming son, mind your manners, just be cool. I know you lame when you was in school, the little fame you ain't used to, and it was easy for you to move through English class with y'all these swords. Like one of these days I'ma be a rapper, but all my verses gonna be bored. So I'ma take them all these southern artists that mainstream never heard of, recycle all of they lingo and make sure I screw my words up. Bravo for your swagger jack, and I'm overwhelmed by your dedication. You acting foolish, people in the thinking that your music was innovative. Frustrated. Rap ballad never got me out of no public housing. You telling me I can be king of hip hop and they wouldn't give it to Andre 3000? Nigga, please, this war ain't got shit to do with us. God can physically calm down and say he's the greatest, my favorite. Y'all should listen. It had potential. That I live the heat wave. I'ma send through this motherfucking reveal for a whole nother other culture. And that wouldn't be enough. So fuck these haters and fuck these hoes. Damn right, I still mean that. Now they wanna hear a country nigga rap. 5 albums.
Five, God could come down and say, he's the greatest. You should listen. 5.0. and that wouldn't mean shit. He said God himself could come down and say perfect is the greatest. You should listen. He's the best. He got potential, and that wouldn't mean shit. So forget these ninjas and forget these pros, and I really mean that. He said God could come down and say that perfect and 5.0 is the greatest. He is good. You should listen. He got potential, and that wouldn't mean shit. So forget these ninjas and forget these pros. And I really mean that. Let's go!
Come down and say he's the greatest, my favorite. Y'all should listen. It had potential. That I live the heat wave. I'ma send through this motherfucking reveal for a whole nother other culture. And that wouldn't be enough. So fuck these haters and fuck these hoes. Damn right I still mean that. Now they wanna hear a country nigga rap. Five albums in, I swear, country nigga snap. Thought they wanted trap, thought they wanted bass, thought they wanted mileage, thought they wanted drink. Fuck them niggas, now they wanna hear a country nigga rap. Five albums in, I swear, country nigga snap. Thought they wanted gold, thought they wanted shine, thought they wanted radio. They make up your mind. Fuck them niggas. Either way, I wrote it. Yes, I made the beat. Yes, I made the track. I ain't far from whack. You a one-trick pony. I don't fall in line. I define what's rhyme. Fuck what you were thinking. Bloggers, they can quote it. A lot of rappers buried underneath my house. They know what I'm about. You ain't even know it.
I don't fall in line. A lot of niggas buried underneath my house. I don't give a fuck. Come on, Crit. Thought they wanted man fashion. Thought they wanted female bashing. Thought they wanted jibber japping, game spitting, and big capping. Come on, Crit. Hell, YouTubers buried under my house in my backyard. Now I don't give a shit. We going in. Now they want to hear a real nigga rap.
Overdose on hocus pocus, jibber jabber, snap on my statue with fire breathing dragon, king of every castle. How they signing rappers? Oh, these labels must be giving out a rap for breaking lit like cattle, keeping niggas shackled, leaving people back for tap dance, nigga. Misleading all of your rap fans, nigga. Find out what to do a lap dance, nigga. Sap ass, nigga. Do whatever for some dap ass, nigga. I ain't got time to watch out for chillin'. Stay out of my kitchen and shit that I'm cooking ain't for your kind. Cracking and bashing the shit at your spine. King with a crime, humble and tall. Time to keep quiet, nigga. To be violent, so I'm beheading them all. The lay of the land, I'm setting fire to build the bridge. You ain't selling a show until you sell out 100 years of seed. What's good for hip hop may not be good for my soul. So I keep flexing, breaking for the people that respect and check and fucking control.
Yeah, they want to hear it.
Now they want to hear a country nigga rap. 5 albums in, I swear a country nigga snap. Thought they wanted trap, thought they wanted bass, thought they wanted mileage, thought they wanted drink. Fuck them niggas, now they wanna hear a country nigga rap. 5 albums in, I swear a country nigga snap. Thought they wanted gold, thought they wanted shine, thought they wanted radio.
Make up your mind. Fuck these niggas. Yeah, ho. Yeah, ho. It's a lot of Santa Claus today. Before we get into today's beautiful, wonderful, fun-filled topic and tour through the beautiful social media landscape with your boy, Perfect Timing Podcast, we're going to do a little intro and talk about the Santa Claus of the community. Oh, man, it's a good Santa Claus day. Everybody want to celebrate Santa Claus. Santa Claus, Santa Claus. Why do you say Santa Claus, Perfect? Because it's a lot of Santa Claus ass motherfuckers out here right now celebrating Christmas. I don't celebrate Christmas like Prince. We don't do holidays, none of that pagan shit, none of that European shit, none of that falsification and lack of demonstration. If your parents went to work and bought you something, that's how it worked in my house. But we don't celebrate Christmas. We don't worship no white man in no magical chimney, and we don't celebrate no white Jesus and not been in none of the homes I grew up in. Now my mama home, now my daddy home, ain't no white Jesus, ain't no Santa Claus. But it's a lot of people still believing in Santa Claus. What do you mean, Perfect? Motherfuckers think that you just magically wake up in the morning to presents. Huh? Motherfuckers think that you magically wake up in the morning to presents. Yeah, for no reason, whether you've accomplished or not, whether you've worked hard, whether you've sowed seed, whether you've reaped a bountiful harvest, Santa Claus is going to bring you something for Christmas. Santa Claus is going to bring me black unity. Santa Claus is going to bring me unity between the sexes. Santa Claus, Santa Claus, Santa Claus. That's not how it works. Ain't no Santa Claus. There ain't no black unity today. There was no black unity on August 5th or 6th. Today's story happened on the same day. In New York City, there was a riot where young black people were fighting young black people over fucking PlayStation $100 gift cards. That's the real mentality for no reason. And it's a goddamn farce for us to get on the motherfucking social media internet and act like there's some false sense of unity unless you believe in Santa Claus. Them some false sense of maturation unless you believe in Santa Claus. What do you mean, Perfect? I'm talking about maturity. I'm talking about the way life really works. Because somebody said today that I didn't know and understand the psychology. And I found that to be funny. At the same time as you want to celebrate Santa Claus, you wanna say to Perfect that I don't understand the psychology. But you want to believe that Santa Claus came down the chimney, the white Santa Claus, on August 5th and sprinkled like a pixie unity dust all over the black Negroes in Alabama, Montgomery. No, nigga, that's not what happened. There is no Santa Claus. There is no unity. There is no growth. But if we understand, like I said, about actually diagnosing the problem and how maturity works and how life works, you go through, and black people have not done the heavy lifting. I know about the heavy lifting because I've been through therapy. Kevin Samuels was saying to black women every day, you haven't done the work in therapy. You haven't done the heavy lifting, but you want the prize. You want the husband. You called me telling me that you have an issue with masculinity. So I'm asking you, are you in therapy? i.e., have you done the heavy lifting? Black people as a community as a whole have not done the heavy lifting, but people are celebrating Christmas. People are celebrating Santa Claus. Should it be a holiday? No, niggas, it ain't no holiday, nigga. And nobody didn't do nothing worthy of celebrating. But what's funny, if I'm white and I know the numbers of how many guns, and I know the truth, if that was black people attacking a white officer, I'm the one laughing because what I saw was white people attacking black people and black people standing around, not knowing what to do, looking like caged birds. That's what I saw. What did you see, Ken? I saw black people standing around looking like caged birds. I know why the caged birds sing. See, the caged bird has a different song and a different fight. The caged bird has a different song and a different fight. The caged bird is a song about unknowing. I'm not going to hit these people back because I don't know what might happen to me as a caged bird. But the free bird names the sky is on. I'm not moving my boat, nigga. I'm a free bird. I didn't see any free birds for all the niggas who claim I don't understand the psychology. Santa Claus. I didn't see no free birds. The only free birds I saw in that video had red bodies. Cause see, the free bird names the sky is on. This waterway is mine. Remember, I sold black people like you. My grandfather, we still own the land. We still own the land and we still have slaves living on our land in Alabama. And I'm not moving, nigga. I'm not moving, nigga. I'm not moving, nigga. I'm a free bird. And last time I checked, a free bird don't gotta listen to a caged bird. Hello? 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 A free bird ain't gotta listen to a caged bird. Last time I checked, a free bird, and what actually happened? Smoke one on you hoes. What actually happened is the free bird didn't move. The free bird said, fuck you, the sky is mine, and started violently putting 10 toes down, all the shit the young people say. Stand on it. Stand on it. Yeah, well, who stood on it that day? The day y'all want to celebrate. It makes no motherfucking sense to me. Stand on it. That's what I feel, and I'm going to stand on it. Guess who stood on it that day? The security guard, like Nameless said, threw his hat in the air. What the fuck is that? The security guard never threw one blow. Can we have an honest conversation now that the sensitive niggas is outside of the room? We on the actual real nigga podcast. Shout out to Perfect Timing. Can we have a conversation without the women raised and the women-led niggas? I mean, for real, blood. I know everybody want to believe in Santa Claus, but if we actually want to have the moment that we're celebrating, we got to be honest with ourselves and stop believing in the white Jesus and stop expecting Santa Claus to come down the chimney and sprinkle unity upon black people. That's not the way it works. Let me read the definition of maturity. Maturation. Maturity has to do with intelligence. And intelligence is, among other things, the capacity to learn from experience. Come on, Perfect. Come on, do your teaching. I'm going to say a prayer because God be working in mysterious ways. Because I don't be having all these thoughts together, but God be making this shit come together so well. That's why I pray and give blessings due, because it's a powerful gift and thing that we do here. And it's obvious there's people, and that's, when you do great things, haters is going to be hating. But I still feel blessed. Maturity has to do with intelligence. And intelligence is, among other things, the capacity to learn from experience. Nameless, these niggas is not comprehending. They not comprehending, Nameless. They not comprehending. And I believe they don't have a desire to comprehend, Nameless. I believe they don't have the intelligence, like in this definition I'm reading, and they don't have the intelligence because they don't seek intelligence. Intelligence is not a Christmas gift either. Intelligence is not a Christmas gift either. If you listen to Nameless and some of the things that he teaches, you have to seek intelligence. Like the ninja, the karate movies that we watched as children, what is one of the main themes of some of those martial art films? Seeking what? Somebody put it in the chat. Seeking enlightenment, right? Oneness. You have to seek out intelligence. Let's read this definition. Maturity has to do with intelligence. And intelligence, among other things, is the capacity, comprehension, capacity. Do black men have the capacity? That's a lot we need to unpack. Do black people have the capacity? That's what they've said when you go back to the elongated skulls and the nephrology of the Negro. Do we have the capacity? And I run into this all the time when I'm having these high-level conversations, a lack of capacity to learn from experience. Thus, mature people have an awareness of their own lives. This is why I just made that little prayer and shout out to God. This is powerful what I'm reading. This is more powerful than today's show. And we're going to have fun with Kaicenat. But this definition, as it relates to Alabama, the celebration, the BLM twerking, right? The BLM twerking, which resulted in nothing. This Alabama farce that's resulting in nothing. The BLM twerking that resulted in nothing. For a lack of capacity for intelligence and a lack of maturity. Maturity has to do with intelligence. And intelligence is, among other things, the capacity to learn from experience. Thus, mature people have an awareness of their own lives and the use to make informed decisions. They don't just complain. Shame, blame, and explain. Shame, blame, and SBE. They don't just complain. They tend to be optimistic. The whole real point is that the real point is what I'll be saying a lot of times is that and what Hafez was saying, that and the reason why Hafez left this space. Because what Hafez found as he's trying to do his best to be an example as God, as a good Christian, to live his life as an example, be an example, teach the example, not just, but walk it like he talks it. What he found is the majority of men who are supposed to be his brothers and cohorts are working in a concerted effort to make sure that other black men stay. It's a race to the bottom. Stay ignorant. Stay immature. Stay with the inability and the lack of capacity to be intelligent enough to learn from their experiences. Hello. Ain't that what the black manosphere is all about? Maturity, maturation, maturity. What is it? Maturity above all other things is intelligence. Not being smart, not being dumb, but the capacity to learn. The capacity to learn from your experiences and recognize when you haven't been loved, when you haven't been supported, right? That's what this whole thing has been about. And what I was saying today is that there was some obvious lack of maturity being exhibited on social media. Going back to the BLM twerking. What the fuck was you twerking for in front of police? Do you know why? Capacity, maturity, intelligence. That is the psychology behind it, nigga. That is the psychology, nigga. That there is no Santa Claus, and without maturation, without the heavy lifting, without the capacity to learn from our historical oppression, without that moment of growth and the heavy lift, there is no come to Jesus. There is no unity magically bestowed upon no people. If you look at any historical account, you can go back to a moment in time where these people, like if it was the Jews, what they went through, where they had a moment in time, if it was the Afghanis, if it was the Iraqis, if it was the people in Somalia, there's an event. This is not that event. And we're not even seeing it as an event. There's an event that you mature. You get your wisdom teeth pulled. You get your first bloody nose. That's maturity. You get your driver's license. It has to do with intelligence and capacity to learn and moving forward progressively. There is no Santa Claus of unity. Black people didn't wake up at the same time as Kaicenat has a riot in New York where you got black kids fighting for fun, beating up each other for fun, destroying property for fun. Where is this Santa Claus of unity in New York? Where was this Santa Claus of unity that you guys are celebrating in Alabama that happened the same day and the same time that this happened in Alabama, where somehow Santa Claus magically fixed black people's mental woes? In New York, young black kids, and the mayor, I'm going to play a video later, said this is not a police problem, this is a parent problem. Why are these young kids out here acting like this? Maturity, mayor. You're seeing immaturity, a lack of capacity. I agree with you, Mayor, that it is a parent problem. And it is apparently that we don't have any parents in the community that know how to raise children. In the immature, childlike mind of the black manosphere. And on social media who want to celebrate a non-event. Who want to celebrate a non-event, who want to celebrate the Santa Claus of unity. Hey, black people, we came together on August 5th. No, we didn't. No, we didn't. There was a riot in New York. young people of color acted a goddamn fool. And the mayor came out and said, we have a problem with parents. And these immature young adults who don't understand what they're doing to their city, who don't understand the city budget in 2023, when you're destroying property in 2023, and we're not even admitting that we're in a recession and a decline, a lot of the things you destroy will not be rebuilt. If you go back to Portland, Oregon, when we talk about crime in some of these cities, yes, they are liberal cities, but the crime has spiraled out of control in these cities that had huge BLM protests because the things that were destroyed, those stores closed down and never reopened. Those neighborhoods that were taken over by those rioters have never been rebuilt. So you know what came in place of those stores in those neighborhoods? Crime and gangs filled the void in these liberal cities where they said we could protest all day long and all day night. So these kids is having fun in New York, what they think is fun because of a lack of maturity, a lack of maturation, destroying property, but they have no idea because there's so many young people not working. I've been telling you that this is the year the baby boomers retire. I don't know if you're paying attention to politics and understand why that matters, but the baby boomers was the largest swath of employees, the largest worker class ever in America. They paid a lot of money into the system. As far as keeping on city lights, paying for police officers, when the baby boomers retire, i.e. stop going to work, stop paying payroll taxes, New York, places like New York City who count on a lot of money to run the city, if these young people don't have jobs and these young people are not making money and they're not paying payroll taxes, how does New York keep going? Because now, just like with Detroit, all the baby boomers who made all this money in New York, you hear a lot about the police union, the fire union in New York, right? Well, they're going to retire. And when they retire, they got huge pensions that the baby boomers worked hard for. 500,000, 300,000. That's why I believe they fired so many people in the pandemic, because they can't afford when these baby boomers retire. When these baby boomers retire, it's bankrupting cities. Y'all ain't heard about this? So why are we in New York having a good old time, kaicenat, and young people are destroying property? What's actually happening is New York and cities like it are going into bankruptcy because they are forced with paying out some of the largest pensions they've ever had to pay out. Not just to the fire, but to police and all civil servants who all turned 65 in 2023. Yeah, the baby boomers retired this year. And y'all baby boomers did not raise your kids right and to maturity, and they don't have jobs. They just in the streets destroying property. And they don't understand that when you start getting Social Security and your retirement check, it's not the same level of payroll tax. Who gonna pay for the police officers? Who gonna pay for the water treatment plant? So today I'm gonna talk about kaicenat. Y'all share my show, man. That's my intro and my conversation on maturity. We're gonna talk about kaicenat today. And I want to juxtapose this against Jake Paul and Logan Paul and other content creators and popular pranksters, and how everybody is so excited at a black man's downfall. Is he going to jail? Is he going to charge him? Are we going to charge? It's the same thing. It's the same thing with Carly Russell. It's the same thing with Carly Russell. Everybody is so excited for black people as we celebrate the Black Santa. As we celebrate the Black Santa, everybody's so excited about Black Santa. But where is that same Black Santa and Carly Russell, Amani Robinson? It's foolish for us to be celebrating, putting on t-shirts, man, when we got heavy lifting to do. We got some real heavy lifting to do. But fuck doing the heavy lifting. Let's just celebrate. You know we good at that. Shout out to Nameless, man. If we go back in our history, you can see a lot of that where we celebrate gratuitously prematurely. I mean, we down for a premature celebration. Fuck the fight. Fuck the actual fight. Fuck the hard work. You know, you got the Azov Battalion. You got the Ukraine. You got these people really preparing for a fight, brothers. While we arguing over this silly shit. Do you know everyone else in the world sees the writing on the wall, can read the room? It's a lack of capacity, brothers. The world is in conflict. The world is in flux. As power shifts hands globally, geopolitics, and this is bullshit that we playing with. Putting on t-shirts, fake celebrations, and knowing how much work we need to do, especially in these times. Let's get some context and some background on the young brother Cenat and what actually took place. For those who may not know, just 2 days ago, same time as the Santa Claus was giving out Black Unity in Alabama, he must have missed his stop in New York.
Cenat's giveaway on Friday, the NYPD continues searching for suspects who wreaked havoc while they were there. Police arresting 65 people, and Cenat himself faces multiple charges.
This morning on Good Day, NYPD Chief of Department Jeffrey Madry told us the event quickly got out of hand. Fox 5's Teresa Priolo joins us live from Union Square with the latest on the investigation. Teresa.
Yeah, Natasha and Steve, Union Square is back open for business tonight. There are really few signs of what happened here on Friday. But as you mentioned, the NYPD arrested 66 people on Friday. They promise that number will grow.
It just grew exponentially. Thousands of young people came out.
What began seemingly as a gesture of goodwill by popular influencer and Bronx native Cenat grew into a dangerous mob, vandalizing the Union Square neighborhood, injuring fans who wanted a PlayStation 5, and the officers who tried to keep the peace. Appearing on Good Day New York, NYPD Chief of Department Jeffrey Madry addressed the chaos.
Our young people deserve to come out in the summertime, see the people they admire, and have a good time. It should never, ever reach that level.
Tonight, the NYPD continues to search for some of those instigators. They may look like kids, but they are being sought for serious crimes.
We have an overwhelming amount of video showing people committing crimes out there, destroying property and hurting people. Those people will be arrested and brought to justice.
The crowd of 5,000 or 6,000 Friday were alerted to the event after Cenat put out this poster. That's also when the NYPD found out. Cenat has been charged with inciting a riot, among other things. It remains to be seen if those charges will stick. Peter Frankel is a defense attorney not associated with this case.
The common thread with these particular charges that he's charged with is that he had to have intended or just been so recklessly disregard that there would end up being what the statute refers to as tumultuous and violent conduct.
Cenat warned on his live stream that things could get rowdy. It's unclear if he knew this could happen.
They have to send a message, right? And they have to let people know going forward, this guy's got 20 million followers. You've got to be more responsible with respect to what you're doing, because there are a lot of people relying on what you have to say.
The NYPD says not being alerted to the event put them behind the 8 ball, attempting to corral thousands of teens, when Chief Madry says that's not the role of the NYPD.
I have to look at parents and say, hey, we need your help. We don't want to touch your children. We don't want them to go to jail. We want you to come be mom and dad.
So whose fault is it then? As you say, we don't want to touch your children. We want you to be mom and dad. Why are you pressing a felony charge against this young man? And again, much like Carly Russell, 5,000 people. New York City, Cameron went platinum inside New York. You got multiple millions of people in Manhattan alone. Anybody from New York in the building, put it in the comment section, put it in the chat. You got 5 boroughs in New York. Cameron went platinum in Manhattan alone. So when you say 5,000, that's nothing. That's nothing. That's a drop in the bucket. But again, like Carly Russell, this black man is using a young black man for his own political gain. Him and the mayor is taking advantage to be on TV and then assassinate young people of color and their parents. This is sinister. Who is to blame and what is the point of the charges and you appearing on TV? It's just like Carly Russell when the attorney general for the state is on TV for a hoax. This is a prank. This is why I want to bring up Logan Paul. I'm going to bring up some of their pranks and how they got to play with police and FBI and Secret Service, and you never hear nothing like this. Nothing like this to this level. Nothing like Carly Russell where you have a senator, an attorney general, where you have a chief, where you have a mayor, over pranks for these young 20-year-old black kids. And we have people like the Paul brothers who are damn near billionaires. Billionaires. Bam Margera. There's been a genre of white people causing fucking havoc for the past 10 years. This is why we have reality TV and the social media feeds in the way we do. And that has nothing to do, Kaicenat has nothing to do with why these children act the way they do in their level of immaturity. Back to Alabama and the Steamboat and the lack of maturity in this space.
We want to touch your children. We don't want them to go to jail. We want you to come be mom and dad.
And then there is the cost of the property damage, and there is a lot of property damage. Those
same narratives. Same narratives. We got to do better, man. We got to show better capacity. Look at my baby. Check your cash out. Thank you, baby. We got to do better, man. The same narrative as Carly Russell. How many times did you hear in the 2 weeks since Carly Russell been found, white reporters ask how much money did it cost? And the reality is there is no law or statute that says you can recoup the money. It's your fucking job. You don't get to go back to a citizen and then try to bill a citizen for you being a police officer and searching for somebody who wasn't really missing. You get prank calls all the goddamn time. Just imagine if that was the fucking standard, that everybody who did a fucking prank call or made a mistake when they called the police had to pay the fucking money back. Pay attention, people. We on the wrong goddamn boat. We on the wrong goddamn boat. How much did it cost, Attorney General? Well, that's not the question, but you know what one white reporter said in the beginning? Why did you do all this in the first place? That white reporter hasn't been in the press conference since. Why did you do all of this? Because it was obvious to me and everybody from the beginning that this was a fake hoax. So it's not how much money and trying to cost this black girl and family who don't got the money. The question is, why did you waste our time and money? That's the goddamn question. Why is she wasting our time and money by saying they're never going to have a number on how much money it costs the police to do their job that they do every day? It's always a lot of people in Manhattan. It could be a tourist event. So there's no way to quantify how much money was spent because it's something that they do every day. But it is a way to assassinate us because of our lack of maturity and our lack of capacity and intelligence to understand in our historical account. That's why God made me read that definition today. Because you hear about Carly Russell, you hear about Kaicenat, and you not putting it together because you lack the capacity and the fucking intelligence of what is fucking happening to black children and black people. The writings on the fucking wall. Then white people attack the fucking yacht master with no fucking equivocation. How much did it cost? How much did it cost? How much did it cost? As if we're not citizens, as if black people don't pay taxes also, as if black people don't work and pay payroll taxes. How much did it cost? As if we don't get to benefit from the services in America. Did y'all know that they just signed a bill in New York where non-citizens could be police officers? Y'all don't hear the othering in this line of questioning? What the fuck do you mean? How much did it cost? To do your job? It costs what it costs every other motherfucking day. Same thing with Carly Russell. They didn't do anything out of the scope that would exceed some type of special expenditures. There were no special equipment purchase. It was a bunch of police officers with dogs doing what they were trained and paid to do. If they weren't looking for Carly Russell, they'd be eating motherfucking donuts. Do y'all understand the complexities of the shit that they've been saying for the last couple weeks? If you were not looking for Carly Russell, it was good exercise. Those dogs would have been caged and you would be sitting on your ass. There is no cost for a search dog searching. Hello? This is the lack of maturity I'm talking about. It's the lack of capacity I'm talking about. There is no cost for why is that up? I didn't change it. I thought I changed it. There we go. There we go. Kaicenat charged. Let's go to another video. Let's see what the mayor had to say. Now that we have some context, 5,000 kids, that's all it was. The chief has been over on multiple broadcasts. He must gonna run for office. We got a black mayor. Everybody on TV. Everybody want their chance. Chief on TV. I just seen the chief do several press conferences. Mayor on TV. Nobody was actually hurt. This is not the first time, just like Carly Russell. To like what Deborah Carr was telling us about Carly Russell. This is not even the first time that Kaicenat has done this. To the police chief saying that he needed, there's no legal requirement that he let you know. This is not the first time that he did this. Again, creating laws, creating precedent that don't exist. Is the King Kong Kung Fu. They only do it for black men. There is no law. He's been charged with a felony. There is no law requiring him to contact the NYPD. As if you motherfuckers is friendly and you would have answered his call and did what the fuck he needed you to do. Fuck you. There was no protocol for what he was doing. He was perfectly within his rights to meet with his fans. He didn't have to call you. There weren't 1 million people. People keep saying he has 20 million followers and showing you false images. But now I just clarified for you what actually took place. There were a couple thousand people in Manhattan. If anybody truly understands that, then you understand how much of a farce this is. Wait a minute, Perfect. Manhattan, New York, millions upon millions of tourists at all times. And you telling me it was a couple thousand people? I saw the video. I know what you saw. It was a couple thousand people. Yes, he has 20 million followers, but there were not millions of people there. And he quickly probably contacted the authorities himself and quickly exited the area. After that, it was upon the authorities to do their job and clear out the crowd. That what ended up happening got larger. Not the initial people who came for Kai, but the crowd got larger simply because that's the way crowds work. If you work in crowd management, the crowd got larger because of lack of effort and attention on the part of the NYPD. So the NYPD needs a scapegoat on why they didn't act. Because Kaicenat contacted them, left the area, turned himself in, did everything appropriately. But at that point, it's up to police to do their job. But then it comes back to a reality that we started out in the beginning of the podcast about how many, remember 75 police officers were let go in the pandemic in New York. Everywhere there's a shortage of officers. They're paying $250,000 in Oakland, $2 million in Portland. Anywhere there's a major city, we have shortages in police officers. They're lowering standards and offering exorbitant amounts of money, and they still don't have enough officers on the street in major cities across the country. So what happened, I believe, as you don't have the response that this regulated, because you don't have the police officers, because the city doesn't have the money. And people and outside of the baby boomers retiring, you don't have these other generations with a desire to be police officers. So we blaming the parents. Since when does the chief and the mayor get on TV and ask for help from the parent? Y'all got so much to unpack here. That should tell you a lot about what's happening on the ground in major cities. This is New York, supposedly one of the richest cities in the globe, in the most powerful country in the globe. They didn't have enough police. That's the bottom line. It could have and should have been easily calmed down. They didn't have enough police. I mean, even with the minimal police presence, no one got hurt, and it was dissipated rather quickly, right? The police was on TV. It didn't go on for hours. It didn't go on for days like BLM riots. It dissipated rather quickly, even with the minimal presence. Imagine if they would have had full staff on NYPD. Huh? Probably never would have materialized. We can't talk about that. Instead, we find scapegoats today.
Today, after yesterday's chaos in Union Square, police issued a desk appearance ticket to Cenat, which requires him to appear in court on August 18th. He faces charges of inciting a riot and promoting an unlawful gathering after Cenat's giveaway event turned violent. Today, Mayor Adams spoke about the investigation into the giveaway event, saying he believes other people could also be responsible for the riot.
You don't come to get free Game Boys and bring smoke bombs and bring M80s and bring other disruptive items. And so we believe there was some...
Why is he charged, everybody? Why is he charged? My point exactly. Point seen, money gone. If there's individuals who were agitators and what you know is true, you have homeless youth. You have a problem with homeless youth, especially on the island, who have nothing to do and nowhere to go but to start trouble, and they're filled with angst because of their lack of drive and desire. This is the conversation, family. I don't believe they came there, and you know they didn't come there. They were already there, sir. Because just like in California and major cities across the country, Austin, North Carolina, you have a problem, sir, with Atlanta. Look at that brother who do the videos in Atlanta. You have a problem, sir, with homeless youth on the island. That's what took place, sir.
Outside influencers that may have attempted to aggravate this situation.
Yeah, because some of the things the mayor mentioned there, several people were injured. A few were taken to the hospital. Police arrested about 65 people, 30 of which were underage. Influencer Kai.
Salute to Mrs. Perfect Timing in the building. Can't see in red. Mrs. Perfect Timing says, major election coming up. They're pushing something for sure. For sure. Everybody got to keep their job. And like someone said about the all the events I've been talking about is what you have, and I think it was Cold Black, you have to appear tough on crime because these are elected positions. So when something like this happens, it's an opportunity for you to show your constituents and the people, your voter, your electorate, that you're tough on crime. It happens in Chicago all the time. I remember I was saying and complaining about every time the chief talked in Chicago, before he addressed the thing that we came here to listen to, he said, we arrested this many people for car theft this week. We arrested this many people for bank robbing this week. We arrested this many. He always starts with his numbers on how much arrest he's done to show he's tough on crime and he's making arrests. And I deserve my job. And if I want to move forward, like people don't understand how this shit work. And those arrests, 9 times out of 10, are going to be black people because the system is designed to get, like with Ferguson, How do you generate so many arrests, so many people in prison if it's a fair system? Ferguson, whole thing with the BLM, how BLM started was Ferguson's money, just like when we talked about Alabama and the prison convict leasing in Alabama and how 80% of the convicts were white. And then when convict leasing was made legal, 80% of the convicts were the black. And Ferguson, all of their revenue was based on racial tickets that were given out by the police and speed traps that were only given to the black residents. It had gotten so far that there over 50% of the revenue of the city was coming from this practice and policy of illegally racially profiling the black citizens of Ferguson and giving them abnormative fines. Just like how we always say we built America and the economy, like in these towns, like when they talk about try that in a small town, well, in these small towns that are no longer majority white, which is the reason why they're not sundown towns, but a lot of the previously sundown towns that are now majority black, well, this town still is built on the back of those blacks, and the revenue who pays the whites who run the town comes from this type of racial practice. So there's a little background, little context, in my opinion, on the kaicenat. So I want to give a contrast, because what I first thought about when I thought about this is I'm like, what about these Paul brothers? The guy CoffeeZilla did a whole thing about all the things that they've done illegally. I mean, being accused, like how did they escape Me Too? These guys got some pretty serious allegations from women. You never hear about it. These guys have become billionaire status. I got a video I want to show you because people are talking, and this relates, it's funny that we doing this, right? Because this relates all the way back to Carly Russell. So this is not just about Kai, but this is also about Carly Russell and the way both of these individuals are being treated by their country. These are young people, and I just want to show you a contrast of how one group of young people were allowed to behave and be immature and gain maturity versus another group of people who are being prosecuted and being made scapegoats. So in this video, I'm going to show you. So kaicenat has a crew. They arrested 65 people. Kaicenat has a crew. They live in a house together called the AMP crew. They arrested those young men on the day of the riot, saying that they were disturbing the peace and inciting the riot. I'm going to play you a video from the famous Paul brother of something called Team 10, which is similar to kaicenat and AMP. And there was a house like kaicenat has, and it was called the Team 10 house. This is a video of what they did when living in that house and to the neighbors and to the neighborhood.
Neighbor from hell? Disney Channel star Jake Paul is accused of making life miserable for his neighbors in fancy West Hollywood. We've done a lot of dumb things. It's the dumbest thing we've ever.
In public, outside, all the neighbors, on fire.
Here, he burns furniture in his backyard that erupts into a towering inferno. He also lights his mattress on fire to roast marshmallows. Flames spread so quickly, the mattress has to be thrown in the pool. The 20-year-old actor stars on Disney Channel's Bizarre Bark show, but it's his obnoxious antics that are recorded for his YouTube channel.
How many people knew the Paul brothers were on Disney? Shout out to my brother, Kevin Gillespie, Kevro, press 1. If you think about, there's another video where the other brother, he said he got canceled because he showed a man hanging, a real life man hanging. This is the brothers. This is what they do. And they are allowed to be billionaires and famous. They got an energy drink out right now that's allegedly getting people sick. But Cenat is charged, and the mayor and the chief is coming down on him with a felony. And people are asking Cenat to pay money. And in the climate we live in, they're not going to be happy unless Cenat goes to jail and they can point the finger and say, ha, ha, ha. But Logan Paul and Jake Paul get to be billionaires and play boxing with Floyd Mayweather. Look at this.
It's now making headlines. For his stunts, he's always joined by a crew of rowdy buddies. Like when he rides a dirt bike into his pool. Here he builds a giant trampoline in his backyard. People launch themselves from his balcony. Talk about dangerous. Watch him light his kitchen on fire. Residents in the upscale neighborhood call it a living hell and a war zone. Video posted on YouTube shows the chaos in front of his home with nonstop friends dropping by and graffiti on his garage.
He's allowed to do this outside. He's allowed to do this as a member of Disney. He's allowed to do this in front of kids. Kids want to do this. This is not just in the privacy of his own home. This is in the public. Right now, it's in the public. He's outside in the public, riding up and down the street. It's not a riot.
Listen to how he responds to the neighbors' complaints.
I have an official reporter that's going to represent us as Team 10.
Okay. Okay.
Can you get the reporter?
He sends a little kid out to discuss the situation with the reporter.
Okay, you got it, big guy.
Then runs inside. When our cameras caught up with him, he wasn't in the mood to talk.
What do you have to say? Can we talk to you?
The LAPD tells us they've been responding to complaints about groups of people gathered outside Jake's house about once a day for the last few weeks.
LAPD, God, you hear that? So compare that to Cenat. The LAPD got complaints every day for weeks from a riot every day. The Paul brothers were allowed to have a riot on a daily basis in a palatial $1 million neighborhood. Burn up for, you can't light a mattress on fire and say it on the mattress. Because of the fumes. Burn up mattresses, burn up furniture for weeks. And this is just the beginning of their career. This was a continuation. They continue to up the bar. Continue to up the bar. It's not just them. There's a bunch of groups like this online. There's another young white kid who live in a house. They all got Lamborghinis and they do these pranks. He did a prank with the Secret Service. He did a fake arrest. He arrested somebody. Like, no accountability. Your only accountability is for you. Carly Russell has a mental illness. Carly Russell does a prank. It's a prank, orange wig, little kid. She's 20 years old. Carly Russell does a prank. The 911 operator knows it's a prank. So what? So fucking what? We're going to make it into something. So I can get elected the chief of police, the attorney general, and now a senator, all involved with a 20-year-old prank, as if she's not an American citizen, as if she's other, as if she's this foreign entity here as an agitator. She can't be a child. It can't be a prank. She had to waste everybody's time when you knew that it was a prank and you didn't have to expend any money or effort, but you chose to anyway. Cenat has a giveaway. I didn't know about it, and I follow him. So that means he only communicated to a unique group of followers. On YouTube, they got this thing where you got to, I'm not monetized, but you got this thing where you got to have subscribers and subscriptions and things like that. So he because he didn't probably want to give away 20 million gift cards, this is why they tell you subscribe and Patreon. And so when I do special things, I can say this message to those people. So he gave out a message probably to his highest subscribers, right? people who pay on the Twitch account to watch him because that's how they make money. So there's probably people like on YouTube who pay a subscription, right? Who pay a subscription on his Twitch. And then he sent the message to them. Now, if they share the message, but that lets, when you said 5,000 people out of 20 million followers, that let me know that he shared it with a unique group of people, with a certain audience, a certain level of follower. There was nothing inappropriate about what happened. But what's inappropriate is the way that it's being used and manipulated, not only by the media, but by the NYPD and the mayor's office. Especially when you take a look at and contrast it against other celebrity content creators who've done similar pranks and even worse. Take a look.
You're gonna be going crazy, bro. I'm like,
okay, so that is Cenat announcing a PlayStation giveaway that attracted a massive crowd, which swarmed the area. Police say Cenat did not pre-plan the event with the city, nor did he have a permit for the giveaway. 65 people were arrested. 30 of them were minors after people started climbing on top of cars and statues. Some started throwing bottles and flash bombs.
Look at the crowd that turned out just for that.
Half a dozen people were injured. Cenat faces multiple charges, including riot, inciting a riot, and unlawful assembly. Here's what's new. In a statement over the weekend, his representatives said they had never experienced anything that scale and are deeply disheartened by the outbreak of disorderly conduct and do not condone that behavior. Event that led to a riot in New York City's Union Square on Friday. That riot happened after a social media personality streamed this video online.
New York is insane, okay? Bro, I need all my New York out there. We're gonna be going crazy, bro. I'm like,
okay, so that is Cenat announcing a PlayStation giveaway that attracted a massive crowd, which swarmed the area. Police say Cenat did not pre-plan the event with the city, nor did he have a permit for the giveaway. 65 people were arrested. 30 of them were minors after people started climbing on top of cars and statues. Some started throwing bottles and flash bombs.
Look at the crowd that turned out just for that.
Half a dozen people were injured. Cenat faces multiple charges, including riot, inciting a riot, and unlawful assembly. Here's what's new. In a statement over the weekend, his representatives said they had never experienced anything that scale and are deeply disheartened by the outbreak of disorderly conduct and do not condone that behavior. Event that led to a riot in New York City.
And that's the evidence. That part where he said we're going to be going crazy.
This was a mess.
Square on Friday. That riot happened after a social media personality streamed this video online.
New York is insane, okay? Bro, I need all my New York out there. We're gonna be going crazy, bro.
So that's what they're going to use. That's what they're going to use. And I think it's unfair because these are terms and he didn't mean it in that way. So, and I believe that's why he chose Manhattan, because it's a perfect place for a lot of people to congregate, because it's always a lot of people there. He didn't pick a place that's typically with families and would be children and there's not a lot of people, like a quiet area, like a quiet church. He chose Manhattan. He didn't have to choose Manhattan. He could have chose anywhere else, but he chose Manhattan for a reason. Now, another thing that was said is that if you can understand when his team said they had no idea that this was going to happen, another backstory is this is not the first time he's done this type of giveaway. He's done this before at this level of millions of subscribers. So he's giving out this announcement and people have come to Manhattan and he's done this giveaway before and none of this had taken place. I believe what's the difference is now is New York. Kaicenat is not the difference. His followers and fame, I know a lot of people will push back on that. The difference is what's going on in America, our teenage homelessness problem, and what's going on with inflation and a recession, and how much gas and food costs in a place like San Francisco and how much it costs in Manhattan, New York. I'm telling you, gas is $7 to $8 here in San Francisco, and it's similar in New York. When you hear about people paying $8, do you remember the story about Cardi B? People paying $8 for eggs, $7 for lettuce. That is in San Francisco, in New York. So what you have is an overwhelming number of homeless children on the island. And we know it. You seen the videos of the brother in Atlanta with all of the homeless children in Atlanta. So what happened? What was the difference in this time when Cenat did his giveaway and the last time when Cenat did his giveaway? Well, we're going through a decline. The administration doesn't want to call it a recession despite 400 Starbucks stores closing, despite the Walgreens removing all of the items out of the store and you now having to push a button to purchase an item out of the Walgreens, despite Bed Bath & Beyond closing, despite all of the closing in jobs. They want to say it's not a recession, despite the homelessness and despair. So I believe what happened when you have smoke bombs, when you have agitators who are already there, is that you know for a fact, Mayor and Chief, the reason you said it's a parent problem and we want the parents to get their children is because you have a homelessness problem, a teenage homelessness problem, and it's not unique to you in New York. I wish you would just be honest so we could deal with it, bro, and help these kids. Instead, you blame another kid. I don't like that. I don't like that. Instead of helping, you blame another kid for trying to do a giveaway. Man, I had another video it may have gotten because I had a video where it talks about yeah, where it talks about what his charges are. They charge him with a Class E felony for starting a riot. Like a felony. I'm gonna bring up something to see if they give us a little bit more detail on the charges. A Class E felony is what they want to get a young brother. Shout out to, I see Jason Lyric in the chat. I see you. Thank you for supporting and watching.
They're looking into where there's some even outside agitators. You don't come to get free Game Boys and bring smoke bombs and bring M80s and bring other disruptive items.
Chaos on the streets of New York City. Twitch star Cenat promised to give away free PlayStations and other electronics at Union Square Park. Instead, a riot broke out. An NYPD spokesman says he saw at least 4 people taken away in ambulances and others with bloodied heads. Police arrested 60 people yesterday in connection with the event. More than half were juveniles. Cenat is now charged with inciting a riot and unlawful assembly, but he could face other charges.
We're getting a new look tonight at the cleanup underway in Union Square after chaos on Friday. Thousands of teens showed up for a giveaway, but then ended up ripping down construction barriers, using fire extinguishers to spray the crowd, and climbing onto the roof of a subway entrance under construction.
Well, today, the Union Square Market was back up and running, and people enjoyed snacks at yellow chairs and tables that had been used as projectiles on Friday. CBS 2 political reporter Marsha Kramer here now with more. And Marsha, as we understand it, NYPD is still going through a lot of video, and they plan to make more arrests, right?
Well, Maurice, yes, chaos could be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars to police cars, private vehicles, and the transit entrance that is still in the process of being rebuilt.
They did quite a bit of damage.
Officially, the MTA says it's still assessing the damage to the new entrance to the Union Square station that is now under construction. But one construction worker told CBS 2 it could be as much as $200,000 because the roof to the entrance that people were jumping and dancing on had been recently installed and may have to be replaced. As construction work resumed after as many as 6,000 people stormed the area last Friday, garbage bins of debris from the riot filled the area, including the fire extinguisher that one of the rioters used to spray at people during the hours.
I see 3-4 people on the roof and one fire extinguisher. They really, man, it must be a slow news day.
On disturbance. Sources say the NYPD is still going through video to identify other acts of violence and property damage, and they intend to make more arrests. Police released pictures of teenagers, part of a group of 8 14 to 18-year-olds who damaged a police car parked in front of 838 Broadway.
Wait a minute. Is that even legal? How are they posting 14-year-olds on TV talking about they destroy the police? Did y'all? Man, there's so much to unpack about this type of shit, man. Ain't no Santa Claus, man. They showing people, children on TV. It's just like in the Chinese store where they post up pictures of people who they say stole. That shit not legal. You can't put up people pictures in America. This ain't China. People innocent until proven guilty. When you put my picture up there, that's assessing guilt. These children ain't guilty. It's America. Is anybody paying attention? This is what's happening in America. These 14-year-old babies. They gonna go on and maybe go to school and be professionals. Can't put oh man.
They also asked for the public's help in identifying the people seen kicking and jumping on private cars at East 14th Street and Union Square East. Several cops were injured in the chaos, from Chief of Department Jeffrey Madry, who was struck in the head with an object, to others who received cuts and bruises. One police officer suffered a broken hand. And while the area returned to normal today, this man who works in the area says he waited for hours before it was safe to leave his office.
This whole area was completely wrecked all the way back down to the subway station down here.
It looked like the police officers couldn't handle the kids.
Just trash everywhere, just madness up and down the block.
Governor Hochul praised the NYPD.
It was deeply disturbing to watch, but I also want to commend NYPD and the MTA for taking quick, coordinated action to close down the station temporarily, to suspend the bringing in of more people. So I think what they did was they did as much as they could to control with the resources they had. So I want to thank them for what they did.
Now also Twitch star.
Did y'all hear that? They did the best that they could do with the resources that they had. They did the best that they could do with the resources, and they closed down the station. What you saw was an inability to respond to 5,000 people. You know why? Because in most of these major cities, like in Oakland, they have 700 police officers. Let's find out how many police officers do the NYPD have. NYPD, approximately 36,000 officers and 19,000 civil employees. Municipal police departments in the United States with approximately NYPD department is the largest and one of the oldest municipal police departments in the United States with approximately 36,000 officers. 35,000 uniform officers. In a city of how many? So we got 35,000 uniform officers. How many people? And you could break down how many officer per person. How many people live in New York City? 8 million. That's a lot of people. That's why I said Cameron could go platinum in New York, and Manhattan by itself probably over 1 million people. So you got a city of 8 million. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. A city of 8 million people. 35,000 cops. They not all on duty at the same time. How many cops is that per person? How many cops is that per person? 35,000 into 8 million. Well, we know it's not a cop per person because it would be 8 million cops. So it's telling me it's 0.0043 police officers per person. That's the ratio of protection that you have. You can't protect the city. Just like Oakland with 700 officers and 400,000 people. 600,000, I think it was 700,000 people and a couple hundred officers. You can't protect. At any given time, they said in Oakland is like 30 cops on the street or 100 cops on the street. I was like, those 100 cops, this is why in Portland you had that story about the police officer finding someone with no plates and no driver's license and telling them to go home. Because he don't got time to arrest him, not because he can't leave this presence. He know his presence is valuable on the street. People need to see the car and see him because there's 200,000 people on the street and there's only 100 police officers. So that means we got to keep driving around. That's why you haven't seen a lot of people pulling people over. It takes a long time to pull somebody over. Your boss is going to get mad at you. What the fuck you doing on the side of the road? Somebody said you on the side of the 14th on 63rd giving somebody a ticket and you've been there for 2 hours. I only got 10 cops over there. You don't got 2 hours to spend with that person. Let them go. Cut them loose. Well, they don't have God damn it, I said cut them loose. And keep your ass on a swivel until you see blood dripping. Y'all don't understand how they police in the cities now? The mayor said they did the best they could do with what the resources that they had. You don't see people getting pulled over. You used to see a person getting pulled over for nothing and have 2 cops. 2 cop cars pulled over a young black man for a brake light. And then a 3rd cop show up. Do you know why? Because they didn't have shit to do and they had an abundance of overtime and abundance of cops. So they taking the opportunity to train police officers and to fuck with this young black man. So now, wouldn't you be terrified? You said you pulled me over for a brake light and there's 3 police officers here, 3 cars, 2 cars in an SUV and a dog. You don't see that anymore because you don't have to put numbers anymore.
Kaicenat was charged with inciting a riot, but police sources say they believe he was trying to do something good by promising to give out PlayStations. Police believe professional outside agitators were part of the crowd, using fireworks to contribute to the chaos.
If police believe that, you might as well drop the damn charges. That's why the other lawyer said, is the charges going to stick? So the charges just been charged against him just for the looks of it. You guys, if the police are admitting that they were outside agitators and that Kaicenat genuinely came to actually do a giveaway to a few people, the case not even going to be prosecuted. The DA ain't even going to pick it up. You guys are already blew your case. You just admitted on camera, on national news, that it wasn't his fault. Because it got to be 100% his fault to be convicted of a crime beyond a reasonable doubt. And the other lawyer said that he had malicious intent and that he had knowledge that this would happen. They can't prove that because he did it once before. He don't know that this subway station is being constructed, and he's not these kids' parents. Y'all had an opportunity. Like when I did my research, I didn't know that the Paul brothers were on Disney. And that the people, because a lot of people who learn about the Paul brothers, right, will say, well, how did they get to where they are? They just some great content creators. Well, actually, what we learned today is that they are industry plants, and you could have guessed that the whole time, that they were propped up by the machine, by the Rat King, to do what they have been doing. Real agitators. They were propped up by the Rat King. That's why you haven't seen another Logan Paul or Jake Paul. Don't you think there's other good kids, good, beautiful, blonde, white kids in America? It got to be some other white kids in America that people would latch on to. Why are we still looking at Logan Paul, Jake Paul, and Pootie Pie? And as you uncover everything about these individuals, you uncover that their fame was not garnered by the way they want you to know that Pootie Pie is just so great and he just happened to be racist. No, what you learn is that he was put into that position. When you have Logan Paul using the N-word, and now I never heard Disney come out against the Paul brothers. Did you ever hear Disney come out and disassociate themselves? Maybe I'm wrong because I don't pay attention to the Paul brothers. But I didn't even know Disney was the one who put him in position, but it makes perfect sense to me now. Because a lot of people may ask, why do we have the Paul brothers? Since them, you haven't had anyone else like them. What we learned today is that they were put out here by Disney. And so when you hear that, then you got to go, aha, aha, Disney again. Disney again, Disney again. Keke Palmer, Raven Simone. Huh? Let's go down the list. What's the boy who was on the show with Raven Simone, who exposed everything in Hollywood? Yeah, Orlando, what's his name? All that's Disney, you guys. Some of the darkest things you know about Hollywood, some of the darkest individuals with some of the darkest true stories. Disney, Corey, Raven Simone, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, and now the Paul brothers, propped up by Disney, giving the ball, and Kaicenat is going to take the fall. A young black man, he's very new to fame. He's already gotten banned several times. And now he's going to be the face of everything that they did, because a lot of people hate the Paul brothers. And all of the, and they hate the way they manipulated this fame thing for money. And everyone who pays attention, the intelligent, mature people who pay attention to the internet know it's fake and know it's a lie. So it's a lot of anger toward the Paul brothers and the way that they say and act like it was so easy for them to get rich and famous. And then they're used by the people who want you to believe in this internet thing, who don't want you to go to college. So there's a lot of anger toward the Paul brothers, legitimately so. And now I see that anger, similar to Alabama, is going to be directed toward Kaicenat, this young black man who did not destroy public property, who is not this weird person who does weird pranks. He's actually a good kid with parents. He stays in his house and does his little video game stuff. He doesn't do a lot of stuff like this, like the Paul brothers. But because that sentiment is there, I see him getting the persecution that they should receive. Oh, it's a social media influencer. It's another one at all. It's another social media influencer. He's not aware of the law. He doesn't care about the law. He doesn't care about your kids. He has 20 million followers. And he just caused a riot in New York. New York City. New York City. How many people? Because you know New York City got 8 million people. It's probably a couple million people in the island of Manhattan right now. How many people did the guy sitting at 20? 3 or 4,000 maybe. 3 or 4,000 people, huh? In the city of 8 million. Don't sound like a riot, do it, brothers? That don't sound like a riot to me. Because how do you quantify a riot? When you got a couple million people on an island, how can you say anything is my fault? It's New York. It's 8 million people. There's millions of people out. It's a tourist attraction. If you listen to Kev Gills, you understand that New York City and Manhattan is basically like going to Disneyland. You ain't even supposed to live there. New York City was created as part of a World's Fair. You go there to be indoctrinated. It's not even a real place. It's just like San Francisco. I grew up in San Francisco. People be wanting to go back to San Francisco. It's like La La Land. These ain't real places. You know, when Kev Gills was talking about the World's Fair, and I looked at the San Francisco World's Fair that was on Treasure Island, and it said San Francisco World's Fair was a Pan Am. Y'all remember Pan Am Airlines? It's a Pan Am, Pan Pacific, Hawaii, Japan, and you live in San Francisco, you understand that real estate in Japan and Hawaii is in San Francisco is the most expensive in the world because the Japanese are some of the richest people in the world, and they buy real estate in San Francisco and Hawaii and LA. So in this Pan Am conference, you know what they were celebrating? The building of the Golden Gate Bridge and the Bay Bridge. And I said, wait a minute, I lived in San Francisco all my life. I never knew that. Because if you listen to the concept from Kev Gills about the World's Fairs and what these cities actually are, they're not really cities. They're actually fairs to indoctrinate and teach, right? If something like a Golden Gate Bridge and the Bay Bridge was built as an attraction, and you see people walking across it like an amusement park ride, this threw me. I seen people walking across the Bay Bridge and the Golden Gate Bridge like an amusement park ride, walking into San Francisco like it was an amusement park. And San Francisco being built, and places like New York being built, Seneca Village being built, what is it? Central Park being built on top of Seneca Village as part of this amusement ride. So people think the Bay Bridge and the Golden Gate Bridge is a way of commerce and communication, but no, it was just an entrance into this amusement park where we're going to indoctrinate the Pan Islanders who coming into America, and we're going to teach them how to be white and teach them how to be America and give them their new history. This is why, we always complain about black people not knowing our language and who we are, but do anybody know what the Hawaiian? You don't get to hear Hawaiian people speak. Hawaiian people had their own language. They had a queen. All of that got erased. You know when they got erased and replaced? In the San Francisco World Fair. In the San Francisco World Fair, in that Pan Am World Fair, that was about retraining and bringing in those people into the corporation. So people would travel here from Hawaii, Japan, and these places that we at Commandeer, go through the Golden Gate. Don't Golden Gate make more sense now? Because when you hear about it as a kid, like, okay, Golden Gate because it's red and it's gold in the sun. No, that's not why it's the Golden Gate. You hear about Golden Gate because, China is like gold, golden sun and yellow sun. So the Golden Gate, it's a golden gateway. It's a gateway for gold. Gold is Asian. So it's a gateway for the Asian Pan-Pacific people into the corporation. I never knew that. Shout out to Kev Gills, Kev Rowe, Kev University. Press one, press one. Press one, press one. I never knew that until he started doing that teaching, and then I started doing some research, and then all that was revealed to me about the Bay Bridge and the Golden Gate Bridge and what it actually represents. And so you had this World's Fair that went on for, these World's Fairs would go on for like a year or two, and the attractions would stay up for several years. So you have a World Fair that island was built. Treasure Island was built to house these things. I know Treasure Island was a military base, but I didn't know Treasure Island was built to house these attractions. Well, the attractions were actually like college exhibitions. They're more than just attractions. They're exhibitions where you learn about history that never took place, and then it becomes actual his story. So in the exhibitions and the World's Fair, you learn about the gold rush, you learn about Wild Bill and the Wild West and all these things that never really occurred. And then that's what manifests into textbooks. So shout out to Kev Gills, man. Golden Gate Bridge, Bay Bridge, New York City. New York City, when you talk about 8 million people, Manhattan having millions of people, and it's even people, when you talk to people who live in New York, and you don't really live on Manhattan, it's a tourist trap. Like living in San Francisco, you don't really live in Manhattan. Like you might live in a different borough, but you don't really live in these certain places, right? Unless like you're Trump and you at Trump Tower, right? And there's projects and shit, but it's not really made for people to like live and have good lives. That's why anybody that's mature, like we've been talking about all day, goes to Jersey. They don't stay in Manhattan. They might come back and visit Manhattan because it's fun and they from New York and they grew up there, but they make a little money. They move into New Jersey. They want grass. They know it's better for the kids. It's better for your breathing. It's better for your lungs. It's better for your retirement. They move to Jersey. They move upstate. They figure out that this is a rat trap and no one should live and raise kids here. So if they know no one should live and raise kids here, what the fuck is it? If it's not really a city perfect, what the fuck is it? I gotta go watch Kev Rowe. And if it's 8 million people and millions of people on the island at any given time, but it's 3,000 or 4,000 people, is that a riot? And if just like with Alabama, if these were white kids and they were setting things on fire, disturbing neighbors, riding up and down the street, would they be rewarded with billions of dollars versus a felony charge? Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for watching and supporting. This is the Purpose I'm the podcast with the blast on your ass. Y'all have a good day, and we out this piece.